Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story, The Drunk Diner, when entitled guy tried to run away twice. When a guest complaint backfires. The third story, Sweet Revenge, how I froze my boss out of business. The first story is Tales from the Drunk Diner, the cheesecake guy returns. The Drunk Diner, my current place of employment, a 24-hour breakfast diner in a big city. I work the graveyards, so we get all the fun people. The night shift is perpetually understaffed, and most nights 2 servers run the entire FOH. Hosting, food running, cleaning tables, making our own drinks, etc. Me, your exasperated author, aka the really energetic server. The girl with the weird sleep thing server. Been at the Drunk Diner for a year. C, 50s male, our bartender/supervisor, which is mostly a title. He does neither of these things for our shift, as we make our own drinks, and he's busy enough serving his own section. Not that we mind, he's another lifer that knows how to keep things working. 3 to 4 years here. PSA. Yes, we all know this place is bad sh crazy and terrible for our sanity. Lots of us are leaving or planning to leave when the opportunity arises. The cheesecake guy returns. Apparently, I have the patience of a saint, so my coworkers will pass me tables that they really hate. I usually wind up charming them into tipping me, or scolding them for whatever drunken buffoonery they've decided to engage in. On occasion, there's a real A-hat. And these I have no qualms about kicking out. About a month ago, I was on a busy weekend shift. Shortly after I get in, C passes a drunk guy off to me, who I will hereafter refer to as Cheesecake Guy/CCG. Apparently he ate here and cashed out, and was enough of a D that C didn't want to serve him again. CCG proceeds to be an annoying waste of a table, unable to make up his mind and refusing to answer any questions that could help me make a recommendation. He'd call me over, hum and haw, make some random comments or complaints, and then I'd walk away to help someone else because he still hadn't decided. After about half an hour, I'd had enough. I get being drunk and indecisive, but I hate people wasting my time during rush hour for no reason. I told him again that he needed to get something because he isn't allowed to loiter, and this was his last chance to order. I refuse to come running when he waves if he doesn't know WTF he wants. Eventually, he decides on cheesecake. Okay, I drop his dessert a few minutes later and go around to take the orders of a large table behind him. 5 minutes later, CCG is gone, along with his plate. I asked around and no one saw him leave. The table looked clean and reset, or maybe he didn't use the rolled cutlery there. WTF? I mean, he literally just ate with C. He made sure to pay his bill, so I figured he wouldn't run out on me. C commiserates. My shift eventually ends and I chalk it up to another moment of inebriated idiocy. But wait, it gets better. I'm on shift the next day. It's late but not after bar rush late, so I'm keeping a steady pace and in a relatively good mood. Guess who sits down in my section? Cheesecake Guy and his girlfriend, of course. The girlfriend was new. I hadn't met her before, but I remember clearly the gaudy ring and stoner drawl of my dine and dasher. The girlfriend gives me her order, and Cheesecake Guy tries to give me his. I'm just looking at him with incredulity, kind of like how you'd look at a guy wearing underpants on his head. Like, really, dude? He lurches off to the bathroom. I turn to the girlfriend. Me. He really doesn't remember, does he? GF. Huh? Remember what? Me. Last night. Your friend here dined and dashed on me. GF. What? No way. Me. Ordered a cheesecake and then skipped out on the bill, which was weird, because he had just eaten with my coworker and paid his bill. GF. And you're letting him eat here again? Me. Nope. I'm not ringing that order. He wants his burger, the same one he was blaming last night for making him drunk. Then he can pay for last night's food, today's food, and anything else he eats here up front, since clearly I can't trust him not to eat and run. Or I guess I call the cops. GF. But I'm fine? Me. You don't dine on dash on me, so I don't care. Everyone gets one chance. If you screw it up, you don't get a second, at least with me. GF. How much was his bill? Me. It was $8.50. That's not a lot, but it's not just the money, you know? He's risking my job so he can have his free cheesecake. Actually, considering that it's only a couple of bucks, it might be more insulting. It's not like he was starving on the street or got a massive meal out of this. GF. Wow, I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe he'd do that. Me. People do it all the time, usually because they're drunk. Not that that excuses it, but your guy was so hammered last night I wondered if he even remembers me. Or maybe he thinks I forgot. GF mumbling. I can't believe it. I've only known him for 5 months. Me. I guess now you know. GF. Yeah, you know what? Just cancel my order. I'm gonna get out of here. Screw this. Me. Alright, have a good night. I wander off to do other things, mildly amused that CCG was not only stupid enough to return to the same diner he ran out of, but to sit with the same server and bring his girl. Oh, you silly people. At least the GF had the good decency to be embarrassed. A few minutes later, CCG returns. CCG. Do you know where she went? Me. Haven't the slightest. I think she went outside or left. You should call her. CCG. Oh man, where'd she go? Me. Wow, you really don't remember me, do you? CCG. What do you mean? Me. You do realize I'm the same waitress you dined and dashed on, right? Strawberry cheesecake? CCG. So what about my food? I ordered a burger. Me. You're not getting your food until you pay for last night's food and pay for this one up front. CCG. Or what? Me. Or I call the police. Once you refuse to pay your bill, that's for them to handle. CCG. Yeah, do you have an outlet? My phone is dead and I need to call her. Me. Sure, you can use the one right here. Cheesecake guy proceeds to spend the next 15 minutes D'ing around, trying to charge his phone to message his girlfriend. I'm watching him while I work, a combination of exasperated and amused. He's not even embarrassed. Me. Alright, enough is enough. Are you gonna pay this bill? CCG. What? Me. You're not getting your food until you pay, and I have other customers to serve. You need to pay your bill. CCG. Insert list of random irrelevant complaints. Me. I don't care. I've been more than patient enough, and quite frankly, it's incredibly rude of you to put my job at risk by dine and dashing, or forcing me to cover your bill. CCG. Yeah, so what? Me. And over what? A cheesecake of all things? This isn't gonna break the bank, and it's not like you're starving on the streets, man. That was a really SH thing to do, to a complete stranger too. Pay your bill or I'll call the police and let them handle the theft. CCG. F you. I can do whatever I want. Me. You have exactly 3 choices here. Pay your bill, refuse to pay your bill and I call the cops, or get the F out and never come back. CCG. I'm not paying. Me. Then get out now. CCG. I don't have to do anything. Where's the manager? Me. This is my shift. In my GD section. There is no manager. So yes, you do have to leave. Get out now, or do you want me to call the police? At this point, I'm walking him to the door. CCG. Grumble, swear, mutter. Well, I'm never coming back. Me. You dine and dashed and refused to pay your bill. We don't want your business. Don't come back. Cheesecake guy has yet to return. I'm pretty sure we haven't missed his business. Apparently, he was really drunk and got short-term amnesia. After all, only an amazingly drunk guy would go back to the same restaurant where he made such a mess. And of course, he gets the same waitress. What an amazing coincidence. And the drunk guy's girlfriend is apparently saved by UOP. Honestly, the most important thing here was not the fact of the unpaid bill, but the moral lesson Cheesecake learned. So lesson number 1, don't get drunk in a restaurant and run out with an unpaid bill and hope you won't be noticed or remembered. Lesson number 2, if you come back, you shouldn't do the same thing in the same place or it will look like a challenge to the waitress in the law. And of course, lesson number 3, people don't do BS. Don't screw over people who are doing everything to please you. The second story is, if you're broke, just say that. Had a guest who stays with us often do a check-in with me. Every time this guy makes a reservation, it's always a problem. He never has a valid credit card on file, which results in us emailing and calling twice for an updated form of payment or canceling the reservation if they never respond. Upon arrival, I ask for ID and CC. He's paying with points, so he only gets charged for incidentals. This confuses him because he claims he has never paid incidentals at our property. I kinda laugh it off, but tell him, I'm sure you've been charged, you just don't see it. But we do charge everyone. We had some back and forth, but he still didn't want to pay it. I advised him I could shorten his stay to pay less for the incidentals, but that's all I could do. Come to find out, he made a mistake on booking 3 nights instead of 1, and it was charging him for the rest that wasn't covered by points. I explained to him that in this case, since it was made with points at the hotel level, we cannot modify it, but he can call higher to have them modify it. He started screaming at me, asking me why I'm making him run in circles, and if I could waive the incidentals and only charge his points for 1 night. I explained to him that it will charge for all 3 nights, and I know he wouldn't want that, so he should try calling just in case. Higher up service was having a hard time since he's screaming at them. Once they call me to approve the modification, I do my best to ensure he gets the same rate in the same room type. They couldn't do it for some reason, but at least tried. He gets back on the phone with them and then starts to complain about me. No surprise there, but it comes with the job. After I help him out, he continues to ask if I could waive the incidentals in the night for the inconvenience. I explained to him that the inconvenience wasn't on our part, he's the one that booked the room. He then began to explain about how every time he's stayed here that he's complained about me to corporate, because you always tell me no and never want to help fix the issue. And at this point I tell him, did it make you feel better? To which he was confused and asked me, what? I replied, did it make you feel better complaining to the corporation of my job because your own actions caused the issues that have occurred every time you checked in with me? At this point he grabs my hydro flask and shucks it down the hall, and tells me to fetch since you want to act like a bee. Guess who's sleeping in the lobby with their wife and kids after their reservation was canceled? Police on the way since they refused to leave the property. Update. Once police showed up, he tried to say that I attempted to assault his wife, which is why he threw my hydro flask. I, for some reason, knew he was gonna lie and had the cameras pulled up for the officer to review before they arrived. He was forcibly removed from the property because he has a right to be here. His wife was very upset with me and began recording the officer, to which she was placed in handcuffs and escorted off as well. The officer was very understanding of the situation, and even gave me $80 for a new hydro flask. He couldn't believe that this man acted this way over something that was his fault. Him and his family have been placed on the DNR list, but he supposedly told my manager through the phone that he was going to come back to have a talk with me. I can't wait to see his face when he realizes we have 4 police cars waiting for him on property, to see if he actually shows. Wow, the hotel guest who seems to arrive on purpose every time to create chaos. Well, if you don't have a valid credit card, why not book a room at a luxury hotel, where they will of course gladly accept your blank card. Of course, when you're asked to provide ID and credit card, it's a bit tricky, especially if you have an identity crisis and amnesia about having a card. And offering to shorten your stay to reduce incidental charges is totally unacceptable, right? Best to start yelling at the poor employee who's trying to clean up this mess. And of course, don't forget to hit someone's hydro flask and blame the attempted attack on the spouse, because as we all know, that's the logical move in a situation like this. And surely after all that, the smart thing to do is to go back and demand a talk with that employee who surely craves you visit. The third story is, my boss berated me for asking for a raise. I made sure his store went out of business. This was over 10 years ago, and I used to work at a frozen yogurt shop for minimum wage. I was a full-time college student at that time, and the school was in another town. Whenever I would come home for summer or the holidays, I'd pick up a few shifts here and there. When I had nothing to do over the summer, I would work at this shop regularly. Over time, I learned to do everything for this store, and took on the bulk of the responsibilities. As other coworkers quit, I was the only one left who knew how to do everything besides the manager. As I picked up more and more responsibilities, I naturally asked for a raise. His response to me was, "Who are you? You're a nobody, just a seasonal employee. You're nobody." I just kept quiet. After that day, the customers who were nice to me magically received the employee discount of 30% off. I started talking back to customers who were rude, making it as uncomfortable for them as possible so they wouldn't want to come back. As this was a frozen yogurt shop, the bulk of the profits came from the summer season. I made sure almost every customer got the magic 30% off for the whole summer I was there. He never caught on as he never audited the POS for individual orders. He would just print a closeout ticket at the end of the day. The store closed about a year later. Sounds like the boss dug a hole for himself. Didn't he realize that scolding and denying a raise to the person who literally keeps his business afloat is a bad idea? A lot of people can sell frozen yogurt, but creating an army of satisfied customers with a consistent 30% discount is an art form. This guy just took the path of least resistance and decided to play a joke on his guests and boss. The result? The store closed after a year. I guess his boss will have to think about how to value his employees and not screw them over. Or the next business may be on the frozen path to closing too. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day.